Hey guys, this is Ethan with Flash Fitness, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to fully assemble the Flash F20 all-in-one Smith machine.
Alright guys, so your F20 is going to be shipping in a crate just like this one. It's going to be a large wooden crate, and keep in mind it weighs over 800 pounds, so it is a pretty heavy crate. So the first step of the assembly process is going to be unboxing the crate and then laying out all the parts. To open the crate, you're going to see these tabs. There's going to be a few on every end of the crate. So what you're going to do is get a flathead screwdriver and then just insert the flathead just like so. Just pry it open with the flathead. And then you're going to do that for every single tab along the F20, and then just grab a hammer and pry the lid open. Now that we've taken the lid off the crate, we're going to be laying out all the pieces for the F20. Okay, so now that we've laid out all the parts for the F20, the first step is going to be building the base of the F20. Just a quick note guys, when you're unboxing the F20, make sure not to unwrap the parts yet, because as you can see, the F20 does have the parts fully labeled, but it's going to be on the plastic wrap of the parts. So make sure not to take off the plastic wrap just yet. Okay guys, like I said earlier, we're going to start with step 1 of the assembly process. Please reference the assembly paper manual that's included with the F20 to see exactly which parts you're going to need to complete step 1. Okay, so now that the base of the F20 has been assembled, we're going to be installing the corner supports. So now that we've put on the bottom corner support for the two beams, we can move on to the barbell storage tube. You can either put it on the left side or the right side of the machine. There's no right or wrong, it's just wherever it will be most accessible in your space. A quick note I wanted to point out: when you're installing these back beams, make sure that these larger holes, there's 3 in total, 1, 2, and 3, are in the back of the machine. So make sure they're facing the back. And as you can see, the same thing for this other side. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we're moving on to step 2 of the assembly process, which is connecting these 2 rear beams with the top cross members. Okay, so now that we've installed the rear top cross members, it's time to put on the logo plate for the F20. I just want to take a quick pause to say, make sure to not tighten any of the screws. Make sure all the screws are just hand tightened unless instructed to do so. But for the most part, do not tighten any of the screws until the full assembly process has been complete. So now that we've installed the logo plate for the F20, we're going to be installing the rear weight plate storage post. There's going to be 3 on each side and 6 in total. So we've put on the rear weight plate storage post, we can put on the middle upright. Put on the middle uprights, it's time to put on the cross member that connects the 2 back and middle uprights. So we're going to be using this piece with the 2 pulleys pre-installed, and make sure when you're putting it on that the pulleys are facing forward to the outside of the machine, just like so. So now that we've connected the back upright and the middle upright, it's time to put on the top beam. Hey guys, so now that the 2 top beams of the F20 have been put on, the next step is going to be installing the weight stack portion of the F20. At this point in time, you want to make sure the F20 is placed where you want it to be set forever, because the weight stacks is going to make the machine very heavy and very difficult to move around. The first step of putting on the weight stack is installing the chrome guide rods. You'll be noticing that there's 2 different sets of chrome guide rods with the F20. The ones for the weight stack are going to be the hollow ones that are a bit thinner. Put on the chrome guide rods, we want to install the rubber bumpers, and we just do that by sliding it on to the chrome uprights. How the F20 should be looking at this point in time. As you can see, I put on the 2 chrome guide rods, and when putting on the guide rods, make sure that the hole is towards the top of the machine. And then you put on the rubber bumpers, 1 on each guide rod, and that goes for both sides. So now it's time to put on the weight stack. Okay, so now that we've put on the weights, 15 on each side, it's time to put on the weight selector rod. The first step is going to be removing the pulley that's already been installed. So now that we've taken off the pulley bracket from the weight selector rod, you want to grab the small weight block, and you'll see there's a little indentation on the underside, and then there's a little peg on the weight selector rod. So you just want to match the indentation with the peg, just like so. It kind of looks like Thor's hammer. And then once you have Thor's hammer, you're going to just slide it on to the weight, to the other weights on the guide rods. Okay, so now that we have the weight selector rod installed and the top weight also put on, we want to put the pulley bracket back onto the weight selector rod. So first, you just want to take off this washer. You want to slide on the washer for the weight selector pin. Put the washer back on, and now we want to screw back in the pulley bracket to how it was before. Now that we've fully put on the weight stacks for both sides of the F20, you can screw in the guide rods to these little slots, the 2 slots on each side. The next step is going to be putting on the protective covering for the weight stacks. Along with putting on the protective covering for the weight stacks, you want to install the Smith machine pegs. Okay guys, so now that we have the protective covering for the weight stack installed and the Smith machine storage pegs also installed, the next step is going to be the bottom brackets for the F20. Yours might be red or it might be black. This just depends whichever color you chose when ordering the F20. As you can see, the bottom brackets have been installed, and for this pulley right here, you want to grab 2 of these black thick spacers, and you want to put them inside so the pulley won't move around when the brackets are tightened. Once we have the bottom brackets installed, the next step for the F20 is going to be installing the Smith machine bar. So for the first step of assembling the Smith machine, you want to grab the Smith machine bar and then rest it on one of the hooks. After the Smith machine bar has been stored on one of the hooks, we want to grab one of these metal brackets and put the 2 screws in here at the bottom. This is how the F20 should be looking like as of now. As you can see, the 2 brackets, 1, 2, and then the Smith machine bar. Next step is going to be sliding in the guide rods for the Smith machine bar. You'll notice on one end of the guide rods, there's an inserted bolt and a hole. So that's the side that's going to be going to the bottom. Once the guide rod has been inserted through the Smith machine, we need to install the safety catch. Next step is going to be screwing in the guide rod through the bottom of this bracket. Now that we have one of the guide rods installed for the Smith machine, we're going to do the same exact thing just for the other side. Now that the two guide rods have been inserted through the Smith machine bar, we can take a sigh of relief as the hardest part of the F20 assembly has been completed. I would highly recommend for the Smith machine portion having two people because there's a lot of parts to hold up and a lot of different moving parts, and you can get injured if the Smith machine bar falls or whatever it might be. So we highly recommend having at least two people when installing the Smith machine. So now we want to slide on these two metal brackets onto each guide rod for the Smith machine. Okay guys, so the next step is going to be installing the top brackets for the F20. Okay guys, now that we have the top brackets installed, I just want to take a quick note to mention to not put these three screws, do not install them just yet. That will be for the pull-up bar, and that will be a later step. The next step after installing these top brackets is going to be installing the front cross members. Now that the front uprights have been installed, we can go ahead and slide on the pulley trolley. Now that we've installed the front trolleys for both sides of the F20, we can go ahead and fully install the front uprights. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the pull-up bar for the F20. Finish installing the front uprights, we can go ahead and move on to the pull-up bar. Now that the pull-up bar is put on, we can put on the pull-up grips. The pull-up bar has been installed on the F20, the frame has been completely finished, and now we're moving on to the cables and pulleys for the F20. The first pulley is going to go just right here. When you're installing the top brackets and you're putting this pulley through, make sure to have the two metal spacers, one on each side of the pulley, so the pulley is tight when using. And it's going to be the same thing as you did on the bottom. So there's going to be a spacer, the pulley, and then a spacer. After installing the two pulleys on either side, we want to grab the cable and feed it through with this end first. The first step is going to be feeding it through these double pulleys. Once it's gone through these two pulleys, we're just going to go over this pulley right here. Once we've brought the cable through this top pulley, we want to keep the cable going throughout here and over this pulley right here. And to get the cable to fit through this pulley, you will need to remove the pulley. So after you remove the pulley and feed the cable through this pulley, you want to go over, through, below, and then back up, just like so. All right, to give you guys a close-up, so we've started by feeding the cable through these two middle pulleys, then feeding the cable through over this pulley right here, throughout here, and the cable over this pulley. You go down, down, below, and over, up, over these two pulleys. And now we're going to feed the cable throughout the cable over these two pulleys. We're going to bring the cable all the way down and feed them under these two bottom pulleys. And now we can simply bolt on the end of the cable.
Now that we've fully installed the cable on one side, we want to do the same exact process for the opposite side. Now that the cables have been fully installed on both sides, we just have a few pieces left, like the foot plate attachment and the landmine attachment, and then we're just about finished. Okay, so now that we've installed the low rope foot plate attachment and the landmine attachment, the last step is going to be fully tightening all the nuts and bolts.
Okay guys, the F20 has been fully assembled and ready to be used. The last step is just going to be putting on all the attachments that come with the F20.
Alright guys, so the full F20 build has been completed. I hope you guys are happy with the equipment. I hope this video helped you out. And if you have any more questions, feel free to drop it down in the comments or give us a call anytime. Again, this has been Ethan with Flash Fitness, and I hope this video has helped you out. Thank you.